Hey everybody. So I was browsing Steam just trying to see if there was any new games coming out that looked interesting. And then I saw this game with one review. So I was like, okay, let's go check out the review. And what's interesting about this review isn't, it's not that, it's some random crap game with one review. It's that there's a 23 post comment thread. So let's just take a quick look at what's going on here. So first off, let's look at the review. Just as you'd expected looking at the trailer, this game isn't worth a rusty and broken nickel. And then he has a link to some video he did on it. Here are some of the real and honest features of this low-effort trash game. The game runs at about 25 FPS on my i7 10700 3.4 GHz CPU and GeForce 2060 Super Video card. There are no settings to adjust the sound or change the resolution or video options to make it perform better. There is also no way to exit the game once you launch it. The escape key does nothing at all and you're forced to hard close. Your character's movement is erratic as hell and about as smooth as a volcano rock. You die for no reason at all and get teleported back to the starting point with no way to escape besides hard closing out. Playing this nightmare of a buggy crapfest game is about as much fun as getting teeth extracted at the dentist. My first impression score, a low effort, 0 uploaded here directly from the Unity Asset Store. Not recommended, even if this were free, avoid at all cost. So the developer's response? Game has many technical issues, but this review and its flashy keyboard bullying does it a disservice, as the reviewer did not review any game design aspects, just the lacking technical issues. I am not hiding the technical issues as they are tied to development, which are tied to funding. And this game had no funding, and made with extremely limited resources, i.e. me begging on Reddit to composers for free music. Not everyone is privileged like this 90-something living in US making this game on his i7 supercomputer. And then he linked a game that the original commenter made. So, okay, first let's take a look at the other guys. Well, before we look at the other guy's game, let's look at the trailer for this game. Okay. Alright, so here's the trailer for the original game we're looking at. Yeah, I don't know. First off, I mean, even if this game was good, which I don't think it is, just this trailer is just, it's a mess, right? I mean, the first 30 seconds are just random tools in text. Death, okay. There's, like, I don't know what's going on. One thing to note is that even in the trailer, the UI is off screen at the top, right? You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know what that's for, but you literally can't tell what's supposed to be going on there. And you get no idea of what this game even is. Like, why is there a 3D X-ray visual of the belt going into the gun? It's a giant green mask going through trenches. So you get the idea. Yeah. So that's the first game. So let's take a look at the guy who reviewed. Let's take a look at his game. Anyhow, you get the idea. I don't like games like Asteroid. I'm not really even a fan of 2D games at all. But at least, I'll give this guy this, right? At least this is a game, right? This is a real game. Whereas this one, I don't really know what you'd call it. Well, let's go back and look at the comments because they get kind of crazy. Go back to the comment thread. So we're going to go back to the very first comment on this review. This guy, even if this is all true, the trash talking and insults are uncalled for. He responds, I really only insulted the terrible game. Don't like my review? Support this trash spewing developer and enjoy. He responds, I know, but still, uncalled for, man. Chill. I do what I do for a reason. So people like you don't waste your money on trash games that are either direct asset flips or asset trash like this. So you chill. Just saying. Okay. Then the developer responds, in my defense, this game is many things, but it's not asset flip. 0 assets were used from the store. To be honest, one was used, which was a skybox. I self-taught and developed everything myself in 3 years, from 3D modeling to animations to Unity scripting. There are no bugs. You died because of shell shock, which has black indicators and text on the screen. I guess they were too subtle for a 99. There are many subtle design decisions in this game, which you clearly didn't even notice, because you can't get past the negatives. So basically, you did not review the game, you reviewed the controls. Very nice. As for the lackluster technical stuff, there were no support for this game, budget-wise, and time ran out, as I don't have infinite amounts of money. Money equals development. Excuse me if my no-budget solo game dev effort about a meaningful game didn't appease your AAA needs. And then he continues, oh, and game is freely available. I gave out hundreds of Steam keys on release and still giving away if people ask me. Price tag is just there, so I don't feel like a moron for spending time making this game to appease rich PC snowflakes like yourself. Developing this game was so difficult because of hardware limitations. Not everyone is privileged like you, mate. It runs fine on my senior citizen PC, so it shouldn't have any trouble running on your privileged i7. You're doing a great service by killing real individual efforts. This is why indie efforts are only limited to hyper-casual, which is now dominated by corporations anyway. I was just brave enough to go forward with a bigger concept with no means. And then he continues again. Solo game dev for PC is an extremely difficult path to take, and I had the willpower to run it to the finish with no help. And I have the willpower to stand up to corporate bullies like yourself. Yes, there are many things that are not adequate in this game, but the real effort I put into it, you can't badmouth with your keyboard heroics. In the end, this game is a blow to corporatism, where the individual can achieve something even without support. And that's what makes you mad, and it delights me. Don't worry, my next game is a hyper-casual mobile game called Alien Probe. Your precious PZ zone is cleansed from filth like myself. Sorry for doing something that matters. Note, KY. And I think KY here either means one of two things. Kentucky. I don't think it means Kentucky. Or it means kill yourself. I think the developer's telling this guy to kill himself. So that's, interesting. Then some guy, Deadpool, responds, 3 salty rants in response to the person's honest review of a trash tier game. How this got approved by Steam defies reason. Maybe this guy doesn't know to get a game on Steam, you just have to pay $100. You don't actually... Yeah, it's not really much of an approval process. Your game's review title is freaking hilarious, though. Maximum trash at a maximum price. Then developer responds, I am not against the review. I fully endorse his review, positive or negative, but it's another ball game when you endorse other people to not support it when you yourself make videos off it. These trash tier games are what make their videos possible, so it makes no sense to endorse people to not support it. Game is clearly visible in his video, and the people can decide to support or not themselves. The only thing that is disgustingly salty is your Deadpool name and avatar. Then the reviewer responds, try not to have a total meltdown, man. I just have 2 questions for you. If you call my computer a luxurious supercomputer and I get 25 frames per second running your game, what kind of FPS do you get on your inferior computer? I always ask this question of indie developers who launch games in such terrible shape. Have you made a game that you enjoy playing yourself? It's funny that you linked my own recent game, Escalating Space Frenzy, in your response above. You act as if my game is some indie game made with lots of corporate funding or something. No, my game is also made completely myself, with zero funding, and I am 100% self-taught indie developer. The difference is that I make games that I can actually do well. I'm not trying to compete with the Battlefield AAA games, just saying. Now, here's where I start to have an issue with this guy's argument. I mean, first off, he comes across as very rude, but he brings up, have you made a game that you enjoy playing yourself? Well, let's take a look at his games, right? So we have Escalating Space Frenzy, which I guess if he probably likes like Asteroid, he probably likes that kind of game. Let's take a look at his other games. So he has another Asteroid game called Vector Z. He has Solo Reflection. It's a brick breaker game. He has Rock and Roll Geos Wars, which is another Asteroid game. But then we get into, let's see, The Best BJ. I guess it's a joke like blowjob, but it's a blackjack game. I mean, really, was he really passionate about a blackjack game? I don't know. Poggers? Really? It's just like, what's that game where you're like the frog crossing the river? I can't remember what it's called. I mean, he was really passionate about this. This was like fun for him. I don't know. I mean, I think, he definitely puts a lot more effort into whatever he released than the other guy. Oh, also, he has another Asteroid game. It's like 4 Asteroid games. It's just kind of, I guess he just loves Asteroid. It's just kind of weird to release 4 of them. But alright, let's get back to the conversation. This is where it gets good. So the developer responds, all your games are utter garbage, and sold at twice my price. You have no shame. Not only to sell games that are such trash at that price, but then try to use my Steam page to promote your YouTube channel by getting the first dislike review. It's obvious what you did. You did not wait for anyone else to give a dislike, because that would steal your spotlight. I did not make it sound like your game got corporate funding. A corporate-funded game would at least be better. I put your game to show people what kind of garbage you spew on Steam, while accusing my hard work. I know it's not perfect, but it's better than anything you have made. Issue here isn't that you give a bad review. Issue is you make worse games than me and can publish because you have US dollars. Then berate my well-meaning game as foreign trash game. Your games are all USA trash games at maximum price. You are not an indie dev, you are delusional. Then he continues, I've sent this game to 24 streamers with lots of free copies, and none of them promoted their YouTube page or called for a crusade to, quote, not play the game even if it is free, quote. If it is bad, make your funny review video, tell it is bad, leave a negative review on Steam, move on. You specifically went on a bold caps crusade to not play the game even if it is free, because it sends people to your YouTube. Difference between you and me is you scam people to watch your unfunny YouTube review, while I give hundreds of free copies of my hard-worked-on game on release with loads of discount. Now, one thing I want to say about this, right? This guy repeatedly mentions that he released all these free copies. There's either 2 possible situations here, okay? The first situation is that he didn't actually give out free copies. The second situation is he did give out free copies. He gave out all these free copies, and people saw the game and tried it, and the game was really bad, and they felt bad, right? Because they're like, oh, this guy gave me a free copy, I don't want to go and leave a negative review, so they just didn't leave a review at all. And he doesn't get the hint that maybe the reason that there's no reviews from all these free copies he gave out is because the game isn't as good as he thought it was. So, only he knows the truth. But I don't know. Something about this doesn't seem right. All right, let's go to the last page. I'm not answering your questions with that condescending attitude, mate. Fix your spoiled attitude and try again. So this was a response to, it looks like this Zaxtor99 guy, the guy who makes all the Asteroid games. It looks like he started deleting comments, which I always think is a little, that's a little suspicious. When you're arguing with somebody and you're deleting comments maybe to make yourself look better or something. Not really a fan of that kind of behavior. But, so back to this. He put, so you'll still be reaping the benefit of your YouTube link? So cheap, smiley face. This guy responds, dude, you need to understand in game development that you first need to make a game that you enjoy playing yourself. That is why I asked you those 2 questions below. If the game runs like crap for me, as seen clearly in the video with the stuttering and the 25 frames per second, and you say, I have a supercomputer, then it must be nearly unplayable for you. How could you even enjoy playing your own game? You talk crap about my games, but you haven't even played them. My games all at least have volume controls, a way to exit the game besides Alt F4, and other options. My games all run smoothly on any computer at 60 FPS. My games all have Steam achievements, Steam high scores, and they actually work. Look at this. And he has a link. Let's see, what's the link to? Oh, he's played one of his Asteroid games for 338 hours. See how I make games that I actually play and enjoy playing myself? Novel concept, I know, right? I mean, I'll give him that, right? He actually enjoys the games he plays, and I respect that. I think a lot of indie devs are just trying to put something out there, not necessarily anything that they enjoy themselves. Developer responds, I'm taking screen caps of your deleted comments. Enjoy your Steam report. Either take down your YouTube link, or I report that you are blocking my game and harassing me for no good reason while promoting your YouTube page. You can keep your not recommended, as that is your right. Man, believe me, I don't need to play your games. Issues I can fix does not require you to call for a avoid even if free, which it is. I gave out hundreds of Steam keys and still giving them. I also decreased the price to half, which is in review at the moment. The issue is that you releasing maximum price games of 2D scrollers from 1991 while trying to get publicity off my release on your YouTube channel. You're basically the scammer you claim to debunk. Are you flagging my comments? I also have screen caps of those. Then he responds, ha 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 ha, report me man, report my games too, report my review and my comments here responding to your total nonsense to Steam. Report my review of your BS game to YouTube too. Also, call the police here in America and report me for harassment. Have fun and good luck. The developer says, nah, I just want the YouTube link removed so you won't be making money from the content you use. Without this game, you won't be having videos, so I find it unethical for you to gain publicity while calling for a cancel. Please stop deleting your comments. The game is published with an unadvised 40% discount and now at lowered pricing, which is awaiting approval. Also, hundreds of Steam keys were distributed to people from Reddit, YouTube, etc. I also give Steam keys freely to anyone who asks. Several people asked and received. You're so cheap to call my game expensive, while your own 1991 games are so expensive. Also, trying to reap publicity from your YouTube video from someone else's release that you call for a cancel. So now I have to ask your almighty permission to release games? No thanks. Cold hard truth is already obvious, I think, as none of my media misleads the public. Even as you said, the trailer declares it for what it is. I am only asking for you link to be removed so you won't be reaping benefits while trying to cancel my game. No game, no benefits, fair play. He just responds, request denied. The latest thing from 2 hours ago. What's weird is that you're trying to block off a U.S. corporation from making money. Steam takes huge chunks out of each sale, more than 50% to be exact. I can see that a lot of the people who buy this are non-U.S. people. So basically you damage your own country. What a joke you are. So I guess he's trying to say Steam's an American company, so we should care about it. We should want everybody to buy this guy's game to support Steam. Which is just like such a silly his view on the whole thing. But yeah, I just thought it was hilarious. You know, we have this guy leave this review of this game, and it turns out he's also a developer, and they're both saying each other's games suck. And that's it. I don't really have much else to talk about. In my engine, I've been redoing the whole 3D file format. I'm not using Asset Importer anymore. That thing's trash. I'm using this tiny GLTF loader now. And I'm just going to only support GLTF. I'm not even going to mess with any of the other formats anymore. But hopefully I'll get that done soon and put it out. That's all I got.